Okay, Mr. Walker? Okay, Mr. Walker, come on back. And you remain under oath from your previous testimony.
Mr. Walker, thank you so much for coming back before you went to the airport. One area that I missed in my notes I wanted to ask you about, and I'm publishing against States B2. In these records, where we have phone incoming calls and outgoing calls, if the handset or the phone itself dials 911, is that recorded in the Metro PCS records?
No.
So if the phone calls 911, we're not going to see it in these records?
No.
Thank you, sir. I have nothing else.
Okay, now hopefully you're free to go. All right, safe travels. All right, let's have Ms. Wiley go ahead and retake the stand. All right, Ms. Wiley, you remain under oath from your previous testimony, so you may proceed.
Ms. Wiley, I think where we left off was you had just purchased the marijuana and you were heading back to the apartment.
Yes, ma'am.
Had you had any phone contact with the defendant either on your way or on your way back from buying the marijuana?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it, which one, on the way there, on the way back, or both?
On the way there, I called and made sure that she was all right. Just called. And then I hung up the phone. Then I got to my granddaddy's house. And then on the way back, I gave him a call. I think he called. I think I called him for the gate code
And why did you call him for the gate code?
to get in the gate because I know the gate was locked.
Were you already at the gate code, or did you call him prior to arriving to the gate?
Private. I wasn't already at the gate code. No.
Did he give you the gate code?
Yes.
Do you recall what the gate code was?
No.
Do you remember anything about the gate code?
It was incorrect
Why do you say it was incorrect?
because I tried it. When I got to the gate, it didn't work.
Do you remember anything significant about the number that you were told to enter in?
I know it was the same numbers. It was if it was 444, it was the same number.
Same number,
Right.
okay. So there was no change in the numbers, it was the same repeated number.
Correct.
So how many times did you try the gate code?
I think 2 or 3 times.
So you weren't able to get in?
Correct.
So what happened?
I called him. I kept calling his phone.
And did he pick up?
No.
So what did you do?
Before I got to the gate, he was telling me that he let her go to CVS to get some candy.
Okay. So when you are not yet at the gate,
Right.
you called him and he told you that he
Right.
had given her some money to go to CVS.
Absolutely. Yes.
Did you say anything to him about that?
Yes, I was like, why did you let her go? She just ate. And he was like, oh, she wanted some candy, and I told her, I'm not going to go with her. I give her the money.
And was that the CVS near his apartment complex?
Yes, ma'am.
So did you try to get in the gate then when you arrived there at the gate?
Yes.
Were you able to get in?
No.
You said you tried to call him back. Did he answer his phone?
No.
So what did you proceed to do at that point?
I pursued. I was like, no, you know what? Let me just go over here to CVS and see if I see her.
Did you go over to the CVS?
Yes, I did.
How did you get over to the CVS?
I drove.
The silver Lexus?
Yes, ma'am.
When you arrived at the CVS, what did you do?
I asked the clerk the people in the front who's working for CVS, and I asked them, did they see a young girl coming here?
And did you see Felicia anywhere near the CVS?
No,
When you drove back to the apartment, did you see Felicia at all?
no,
Was anybody in the vehicle with you when you went to the CVS?
no.
Ms. Wiley, I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit G2, 3, and 4. Have you previously looked at these documents?
Yes,
And do they fairly and accurately depict you driving the silver Lexus and inside the CVS, which you have previously testified to?
yes, ma'am.
And State offers an evidence at G2 through 4 at this time, Judge.
Any objection?
Oh, yeah.
Admitted?
Permission to publish?
Yes.
Ms. Wiley, there's a screen right behind you. In the top left-hand corner of the photograph, is that you depicted in that
Yes,
photograph?
yes, ma'am.
Is that when you had walked into the CVS looking for Felicia?
Yes, ma'am.
State's Exhibit G3. Is that a picture of the silver Lexus that you were driving on May 16th of 2014?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that you in the driver's seat?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that in the CVS parking lot?
Yes.
State's Exhibit G4, is this a close-up of the vehicle that you were driving?
Yes.
And were you in fact the only person in that vehicle at that time?
Yes.
Do you recall how many times you had to call the defendant to try to find out where Felicia was or to try to get in the gate code?
I called them a lot of times. I called him a whole bunch of times.
Did you decide to go to CVS on your own to look for Felicia,
Yeah.
or did he tell you to go to CVS and look for her?
He didn't tell me to go. I went on my own.
After you left CVS, where did you go?
I went straight back to the apartments.
Were you calling Granville or the defendant to let him know that Felicia was not at the apartment?
So halfway when I got almost there, he called me. And I was like, that's not the gate code. He was like, yes, it is. So when I got to the gate code, I typed it in again. And it was not the gate code. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting frustrated. So that's when I seen, it was a little boy who had approached me with a white karate suit on. And he was like, you trying to get in the gate? I was like, yes, can you come over here and type in the code? And he typed in the code and I came in.
How was the defendant's demeanor on the phone when you kept calling him, trying to get in the gate and telling you about that Felicia was at CVS?
I couldn't detect it over the phone.
You couldn't, he acted normal to you over the phone.
Yes.
So ultimately, did you, after you had initially arrived at the gate, you left to go to CVS, you then came back to the gate, and eventually you were able to get into the gate?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you then drive back to the apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see the defendant back at the apartment?
Yes, I did.
And where did you see him at?
He was standing outside
Outside where?
of his door.
And he was upstairs standing outside of his door?
Yes, ma'am.
What did he look like?
He had no shirt on. He was.
I'm sorry?
He ain't had no shirt on. He looked like he was sweating. Like he was just. And I looked up as I was driving. I looked up. I'm like, damn, what is going on? So I pulled in the drive-through. I went at the park lot, and I went upstairs. And he was telling me they ain't gotta let her go to the store and she ain't come back yet.
Let me stop you for a minute. When you left to go buy the marijuana, was the defendant fully clothed?
Yes, he was.
When you arrived back home, what pieces of clothing were missing from his body?
When I arrived back to his apartment, he just had some pants on.
What was his demeanor when you all were talking about Felicia going to CVS?
So he was frustrated, really. He was mad because she ain't come back yet. And I was like, you need to calm down. She gonna come back. She always walk off and stuff. And I said, you sure you show her your door number? He said, yes. And then he was like, I told her to go down this alley and go to CVS. And I said, okay, you sure you showed her the door? And he was like, yes. I said, she gonna come back. You just need to chill. You just need to calm down. She gonna come back.
Were you concerned that Felicia was not there and that you could not find her at the CVS?
Yes, I was very concerned.
So what happened next?
That's when that's when he calmed down and I started thinking, I'm like, oh my God, just girl done left and go to the dang on store.
I'm sorry, what was that?
After he done calmed down, that's when I sat there and I thought about it. I'm like, dang, she done went to the store and he done let her go to the store. So that's when I was about to start panicking, like, why you let her go to the store? You know, she already ate, you know. And he was like, I don't know. She really wanted some candy. And I was like, I want to pray. And I was like, I need to get in the closet and pray.
Okay. So why did you need to go in the closet
Because
and pray?
I was getting ready to panic, knowing that I was high and I was trying to just calm down. And I went in he's like, you go in my mom's room in her closet and pray. And I just stand there, got on my knees and started praying and came.
So when you said that you went in, he told you could go in his mother's room to pray. Was that the room with the bed in it?
Yes, ma'am.
And you went inside the closet in that room? Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How long did you stay in that closet? Do you remember?
Like, no longer than 2.5 minutes.
What was the next thing that happened?
I came out, and then I proceeded to sit on the couch. I'm not sure that he rolled up a blunt. I think he did. I think he had rolled up a blunt in them little rollers, paper blunts.
And little paper cigarette rollers?
Yes. And I think I took a drink.
I'm sorry, but was that the marijuana that you had returned
Yes, ma'am.
to from your grandfather's house?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sorry, let's step back for a minute. When you went to the CVS, did you describe to the CVS worker what Felicia looked like and what she was wearing on that day?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember what she was wearing on that day?
I'm not sure. I know she had some jeans on, some black shoes, and a straight shirt.
So you said you prayed in the closet. What was the next thing you then did?
Then I
Had
came.
Felicia returned during that time?
No, she did not.
So what did you do next?
So I came out. He was rolling a blunt, and I took a drink, and he proceeded sexual towards me, and we had sex.
And where is it that you had sex that time?
Right there in the front room floor. Right there in the front room floor.
Was that the room that has the couches in it?
The front room, yes.
Okay. At any time when you were there, did you look around the apartment for Felicia?
No, I did not.
Okay. Did you ever go out on the back porch and look for her?
No, I did not.
Anywhere? Did you ever go to the other closet, the
No.
spare bedroom closet, and look for her?
No, I did not.
Did you trust the defendant? Saying that she was not there?
Yes, I did trust him.
Did you drink anything on that day?
I think I took a shot when I came out the closet.
What did you take a shot of?
The Hennessy.
Did you smoke any marijuana
No,
that evening?
I don't smoke.
How long did you stay at that apartment for?
Before he took me home, probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I know it ended up turning dark.
Okay. At any time during that time that you were at the apartment, did you ever call Miss Demerson and tell her that Felicia was missing?
I told her sister. I called her sister. I think her sister either called me or I think I called her.
Okay. Did you ever call the mother?
No, I did not.
And when you say you called her sister, what sister is that?
Which is Cha-Cha.
So at some point you said it got dark and you ended up leaving the apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
At all, did you and the defendant ever go look for the victim out around the apartment?
No, we did not.
Why didn't you go look for the victim?
I was following his lead. He said, I'm finna drop you off home. I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm saying to myself, I'm like, well, dang, we ain't even going to look for the little girl. Like, I'm saying it to myself, but this his car, and I'm not going to say nothing out the way. So I was just like, I waited till he dropped me off, and then I called her sister and see where she was.
When you say you called, first, did you get to, where did he take you to?
My grandmother.
In the silver Lexus?
Yes.
And how far is your grandmother's house from the defendant's apartment?
That's like 25 minutes.
How long did you stay at your grandmother's house for?
I didn't even go in. When I got in the car, I stepped outside.
And what did you do when you were outside your grandmother's house?
That's when I called Cha-Cha back, and I asked her where she was, and I walked. She told me to meet her at the liquor store on 22nd.
What area of town was that liquor store in?
I believe that's East Temple.
And why is it that you were calling Cha-Cha?
Because earlier that I had called her and let her know that she was missing.
So did you walk to the liquor store to meet Cha-Cha?
Yes, I did.
Did you meet Cha-Cha there?
Yes.
Was there any conversation before you left?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Okay, let me finish my question, okay?
Okay.
When you were at the defendant's apartment, was there a conversation about what you were going to do or what you were going to say about Felicia being missing?
Yes.
Ultimately, you were going to have to tell her family, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what conversation took place with regards to that?
He told me to tell her parents that it wasn't no male in the house, and then he told me that he's telling his mom was in the house, a female in the house.
Okay, so why did that whole conversation happen, and why is he telling you to say that there's no male in the house?
To make me seem like I wasn't no bad person leaving her, and he told her to go to the store.
Was he telling you that you would be viewed as a bad person?
Yes, ma'am.
That if you had left Felicia there with a man, that you would be viewed as the bad person?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you point out to him that he was the one that in fact told you that you needed to leave her with him?
To who?
Did you tell the defendant that?
No.
Okay. So you're just going along with what he's saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you weren't going to be allowed to say that there was a man there at the house, what was the story going to be then?
That it was a woman there, and she left out the door. I took a shower, and she left out the door. That was the lie that I told in the beginning.
Okay, so who came up with the story to say that you were taking a shower and that Felicia left out the door when you were taking?
I think I said that because he told me that let them know there's a woman in the house.
Why did he tell you to let them know that there was a woman in the house?
Because I want me viewed as a godmother. That I left her with him, and he was unresponsible in letting her go to the store.
So he was saying he was being viewed, he would have been viewed as the unresponsible one for letting her go to the store?
Right.
Who was this woman supposedly supposed to be?
His mother.
Whose idea was that it was this woman was going to be his mother?
His.
Up until that point, had you ever met his mother?
No, I never met his mother.
I'm sorry?
I never met his mother. Just over the phone.
To this day, have you ever met his mother?
No.
Did he tell you what this woman's name, his mother's name, was supposed to be, so that when you would tell Felicia's mother that you would have a name to put with this woman?
Yes.
What was the name?
Vivian.
Vivian?
Yes.
Did you know whether that was truly in fact her name?
Yes, I thought that was her name.
You thought that was her name?
Yeah.
Did you later learn that her name is Gloria Gibson?
Yes.
So when you left and he took you to your grandmother's house that night, the story was going to be that...
Question leading, Your Honor.
Sustained as to leading.
The story was going to be what? That you were going to tell Felicia's family? When you left that night and he dropped you off at your grandma's house, what was the story going to be?
That Well, he didn't tell me. He just told me to tell him that it was a woman in the house, and he gave me his mother name and number. And I told them that it was a woman in the house. I took a shower, and I left. She left out the door.
Whose idea was it to say that she had left out the door?
Nobody. I just said she left out the door.
Okay. So you get to where Cha-Cha's at the liquor store.
Mm-hmm.
Do you tell her that story that had been agreed upon between you and the defendant?
Right.
That's your leading one.
Overall, good.
What happens then after you tell Cha-Cha this story?
She called her mother. And then I think her mother called me, and then told me to meet her at Burger King.
How did you go to the Burger King?
Yes, I did.
How did you get from the liquor store to Burger King?
My brother,
Who is your brother?
Kenny Shelton.
Kenneth Shelton?
Yes.
Is he your actual blood brother?
No.
You just call him your brother?
Yes.
So Kenneth takes you, anybody else?
Cha-Cha.
And where do you all go first?
We dropped her off.
You drop Cha-Cha off at her house?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that close to the liquor store?
Yes, ma'am.
And then where do you go?
He took me to 15. I bought some drugs. And I went to Burger King.
Why did you go to 15th and buy some drugs?
Because I wanted to be high just a little bit more. I was high already. My high was coming down, and I wanted to get high again.
And so you told Kenneth where to drive you?
Yes.
What drugs did you purchase?
Molly.
A Molly?
Molly. Yes, ma'am.
What happened after you purchased the Molly?
We went to Burger King.
And this Burger King, is this located in Temple Terrace?
Yes.
Is this near the apartment complex?
Yes.
When you arrived at the Burger King, was Felicia Demerson there?
Yes, she was.
Were law enforcement officers there?
Yes.
Did you speak to the law enforcement officers?
Yes.
And what did you tell them?
I forgot exactly what I told them. I forgot exactly what I told them, but I let them know that my godchild she went away. I don't know where she at.
Okay. Did you tell them the first story, this first lie that you
Yeah.
and the defendant had come up with?
Yeah.
Was
Leading one.
Overall, go ahead.
And what was this first lie that you told law enforcement?
That Sugar Plum left out the door. I was taking a shower, and I was in the house with my friend, Miss Vivette.
And did you give law enforcement that name?
The lady name?
Yes.
I believe so. I'm not sure.
And when you told law enforcement that, was that a lie?
Yes, it was.
Did law enforcement ask you to go anywhere and get any information for them?
Yes.
And what were you asked to do?
To go and get his address.
So what did you do?
My brother took me around there and got his address.
When you say your brother, is that Kenneth
Kenny,
Shelton?
yes.
Where did he drive you to?
Door Oaks,
And did you get the address?
yes.
Did you see anybody when you went to the address?
Yes, I did.
Who did you see?
Trevor. Granville,
The defendant?
yes.
Where is it that you saw him?
He was standing by his car.
How did he look?
Normal.
Was he still shirtless or did he have clothes on?
He had a shirt on. He had a shirt on.
And you said, was he outside of his car or inside of his car?
He was getting outside his car.
And what conversation took place, if any?
I let him know that the police on their way over here. And I told him if he over here, let them come in and search your house.
And what did he say?
He said, okay.
Did you know? Did he tell you what he was doing down at his car?
No.
Did you do anything else while you were there at the apartment?
When?
This time that you come to get the address.
No, I didn't.
Did you ever go up to the apartment?
No,
Ever look around the apartment for Felicia?
no,
Ever look in the Lexus for Felicia?
no, I did not.
Did you see any suitcase in the Lexus at the time that you went back to the apartment and spoke to the defendant?
No, I did not.
When the defendant had dropped you off at your grandmother's house, was there any conversation about the next time that you and the defendant were going to get together again?
No,
Did you return back to the Burger King parking lot?
yes, ma'am.
Did you give law enforcement the address?
Yes,
Did you remain there at the Burger King or did you go anywhere else?
I remained there.
Were you asked to go anywhere else with law enforcement that evening?
Yes, to the police station.
Was that the Temple Terrace Police Station?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you respond there with law enforcement?
Yes,
Did you interview with them again?
I think so.
Did you ever change your story that night from the lie about you being in the shower and Felicia walking off when you were in the shower?
No, I don't think so.
Do you recall how long you were at the police station till?
Probably like 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning.
The next morning on May 17th?
Yes, ma'am.
When you left the Temple Terrace Police Department around 3 in the morning, where is it that you went?
My brother dropped me off home.
Kenneth Shelton?
Yes,
And that Saturday, did you have to work that day?
yes, I did.
Did you go to work at 7
Yes.
a.m.?
Yes, I did.
Did you work that entire day?
No, I did.
Why didn't you work that entire day?
As soon as I got there, they was like, oh, they had an ambulance alert with the little girl who always came up to the job looking for you. I said, I know. And I bust down and crying, and she was like, no, you don't need to work like this. You could go home.
So you were sent home because you were upset?
Yes.
Do you know approximately what time you got home from work or how long you stayed at work that day?
I ain't stayed at work not even 10, 15 minutes, less than that.
So what did you do after you left work that morning?
I went home and went to sleep.
When you had said that night on May 16th of 2014, and after you had come up with this lie with the defendant and he had given you the name Vivian and her phone number, his mother's number, did you reach out to his mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you talk to her about the lie that you had told law enforcement?
Yes.
Why did you tell her the lie that you had told law enforcement?
Because he told me. He told me that you need to let her know that it's a woman in the house. It was a woman in the house, and I said, okay.
And that woman was her?
Yes.
Was this in case law enforcement was going to go and talk to her?
Right.
So was the defendant concerned he wanted his mom to be aware of the lie so that she could then assist in the lie cover-up?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you follow along and do what he told you to do?
Yes.
Was his mother receptive to what you told her?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she call you back, or was this only you calling her?
She was calling me too because we was concerned with why he not picking up his phone. We was trying to get in touch with him.
Were you ever able to get in touch with him through his mother?
No.
When you were concerned that you couldn't get in touch with him, what did you do on Saturday, May 17th?
I think that's when the investigator ended up coming to my mom's house.
Okay. Did you, prior to that, did you ever conduct a three-way conversation with him and
Yes,
his
I did.
mother?
Yes, I did.
How did that happen?
I think she either, I'm not sure if I put him on three-way or I think she put him on three-way. And, matter of fact, I think I got a hold of him first. I was like, my godchild, if she ain't come home, she ain't show up or nothing. And then I asked, I said, you ain't do nothing to her. He said, no, ma, no. I said, no, I have to ask. He said, no, I ain't do nothing. I said, oh, okay. I said, but she's not showing up. I don't know where she at. And then I think I put his mother on three-way. I'm not sure how the mother got on three-way. She ended
Was
up-
the mother also concerned that she was not able to get in touch with the defendant on that day?
Yeah, because she kept calling me back. I kept calling her back. She said, did you get in touch with him? I said, no, he's not answering his phone.
So, did she also speak to him in that three-way conversation?
Yes, she did.
And was it that this lie was going to continue with the three of you?
Well, we didn't even talk about that. She was like, the mama just ended up saying, you need to get your stuff and go. You need to leave. And I'm looking at the phone like, what? Because they talking in the language that they talk. And I'm looking at the phone like, whoa. And as soon as I hung up, that's when the investigator was coming to the house.
Why is it that you asked Granville, are you responsible? Did you do something to her?
I have to ask because she didn't show up. If she walked away, if she done ran down the street, she gonna show up. We gonna end up seeing Sugar Plum somewhere. But this been almost 24 hours, not even 24 hours, just the next day I done got up. It's about 11 o'clock a.m. in the morning, and she still ain't here. She still ain't up here. So I know I left her with him, so you sure you ain't do anything to her? And he said, no. I said, I don't mean to offend you or anything, but I have to ask you.
When you stated after you hung up that phone conversation with that three-way call, you said law enforcement arrived at your house?
Yes.
Did you conduct another interview with them at that
Yes,
time?
I did.
Ms. Riley, I'm going to show you what's already been introduced to evidence is DD 1 through 14. Have you had an opportunity to previously look at your text messages and your phone call logs, the dates surrounding May 16th and 17th of 2014?
Yes.
I'm going to show you on the screen behind you. We're on starting with May 15th of 2014. Who is Sabril Single?
My sister.
I'm sorry?
My sister.
And you might just make sure when you answer that you turn back around so that the court reporter can hear you, okay? And not face the screen when you answer. Who is CJ?
A friend.
Who is my husband?
That's Trevor.
The defendant?
Yes.
And so is his number 727-288-3413?
Yes.
And my husband, is that the contact that you had put into your phone
Yes.
for his number?
Yes, I did.
When is it that you put that contact in there?
Probably the second day after I date.
Okay. And why is it that you titled him my husband?
He made me feel like, hey, I was the one for him and he was the one for me.
And when you say my brother, who is that?
That's Kenny.
Who is lovely mother?
My mother.
And who is don't answer?
That was probably somebody I don't want to talk to.
Who is sis poo?
My sister.
And who is bald head?
My little sister.
I going back to, and I apologize, that was all DD5, still remaining on DD5. You stated on May 16th of 2014, you went to work that morning, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And on that date, you were having conversations with the defendant about your concerns about the victim coming up to your job?
Yes, ma'am.
So these calls that are taking place at 9:10 a.m., again at 12:52 p.m.,
That's where I'm
and 2:29 p.m., 3:13. Is that conversations where you're having about the victim, what the plan's going to be supposedly initially to go to McDonald's and speak to her?
Yes, ma'am.
DD6, previously you said that my brother contact was Kenneth Shelton. Was he as my brother in your phone, or is he titled as Kenneth Shelton in your phone?
Kenneth Shelton, my brother. I'm not sure then who is my brother. I gotta look at the number again.
Looking back at DD5, that number is 2102357.
And what's Kenny's old number? That's the same number?
His number actually is, it's 2102357. So that's the same number that you have as my brother.
Yeah.
So he, do you recall how you had him in your phone, if it was my brother or Kenneth Shelton? Or could you have had it as both?
It could have been both, but that's the same number. That was him.
Okay. So again, at 3:20, there's an incoming call from 727-288-3413. That would have been at 3:20 p.m. Was that shortly after you had arrived home from work?
That's 3 a.m.?
3:20 p.m. You recall what time you arrived home from work?
3:20?
What time do you get off of work?
Oh, 3 o'clock. Because I'm trying to think back.
Home,
Yes, ma'am.
and you said you changed, and shortly thereafter he arrived.
Yes,
to pick you
ma'am.
up?
Yes, ma'am. Then that's him. That's his number, yeah.
Do you recall what the phone number was of Miss Demerson at all?
Right there. The 516 number?
813-516-2544.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the call that you made Felicia call her mother at 3:56 p.m.?
Yes.
So shortly before 4 o'clock?
Yes.
And where was Felicia when she made that phone call to her mother?
We was about to get out the car.
You were outside of the apartment?
Yes.
Who is granddaddy?
My granddaddy. My mother's father.
Is that the grandfather that you were wanted or asked about buying marijuana?
Yes.
So are those phone conversations that took place at 4:42 p.m.?
Yes.
Did you call him when you were still at the apartment or after you left the apartment?
I called him right when I was in the kitchen when he had asked me.
Was there communication between you and your grandfather then during these different times you were calling him?
Yes.
And he called you back?
Yes.
Did you soon leave the apartment shortly after you spoke to your grandfather and he told you where you could get the marijuana?
Yes, I shortly left, yeah. And then I believe he wasn't answering. That's when I believe I called my sister. And see if she had anything. And then she was like, if you're in a rush, and I was like, I was going to granddad's house and get it. Then she said that she'll be able to make it to my granddad's house to meet me at least halfway. It would have been too late, like she would have took too long.
So she had some stuff, but it would have taken too long to get.
Right. So I went forward to my granddaddy.
And you testified previously that you were calling the defendant to check on the victim, and these calls are between 5:27 and 5:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's continuing phone calls to continue through till 5:57 p.m., almost close to 6 o'clock. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
These calls, these different calls that you were placing to him, were these the calls where you were learning that she was at CVS and that you could not get in the gate code?
Yes, ma'am.
You also testified that you had spoken to Cha-Cha earlier to tell her about her sister. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Cha-Cha baby, is that
Yes, sir.
Cha-Cha Felicia's sister?
Yes.
And when you said you had spoken to her concerned that Felicia was missing, that call was placed at 6:23 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you had stated that there was phone conversation between you and Cha-Cha, and then you and Kenneth Shelton when you all were at the liquor store. Is that correct?
Yes.
These phone conversations taking place at 8:59, 9:13, and 9:16. All those phone conversations between Kenny and Cha-Cha, was that around the time that you were getting ready to meet up at the liquor store?
Right.
Showing DD7. There's multiple missed calls from Kenny and outgoing calls to Kenny. Was there still conversations and where he was going to be picking you up and what the plan
Right.
was?
So I was probably already at the liquor store talking to Cha-Cha, and my brother probably was calling my phone. Or I probably was making income calls. I don't know.
Did you know where he was coming from at the time?
I think he probably was coming from work or from home. I'm not sure.
And this, all these calls take place between 9:26 and 9:43, correct?
Right. So I probably was talking to Cha-Cha, and he probably was trying to see where I was at.
Now, you stated that Ms. Demerson's phone number was 5162544,
Yes, ma'am.
and you had stated that she had called you and told you to respond to the Burger King parking lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And those phone calls represented at 9:43, 9:47, and 10:02 p.m. And did you respond to, you stated you did respond to the Burger King parking lot.
Right.
When
I'm
you were at
trying
the
to
Burger
see.
King parking lot speaking to law enforcement, there appears to be numerous phone calls from the My Husband number 727-288-3413, starting around 10:05 p.m. There's numerous ones around 10:42, 10:43.
Right. Right.
Were those contacts where you were trying to contact him?
Yeah, to see where he was at. Because when he dropped me off, he said he was going to Notice Hassle.
Do you remember his mother's phone number being the 793-5726 number?
I believe so.
And there were numerous contacts you stated previously in your testimony between with her. Is that correct?
Yes.
So that she would know the story?
Yes.
Again, in the early morning hours showing DD8. And in the early morning hours around 8:19 a.m., or I'm sorry, starting up at 7:47 a.m. through the 8 o'clock hours. There's the 793-5727 being his mother's phone number, and the 727-288-3413. There's numerous phone calls, either ingoing, outgoing, or missed calls that morning through the 10 o'clock hour. Is that correct?
Yes, I see that. That's when we trying to get in touch with him.
I'm sorry.
Trying to get in touch?
And was his mother trying to get in touch with him as well?
Yes, ma'am.
So you stated you got off the phone, that's three-way phone call, and law enforcement's there at your house.
Yes, ma'am.
Do they interview you there?
Yes.
Do you tell them the same story about Felicia walking off when you're in the shower?
No.
What do you tell them this time?
I told him it was a man in the house.
And when you say that there's a man in the house, is that all that changed
Yes.
from the
Yes.
original story?
Yes, he did. Because I remember.
So was everything else the same with regards to the victim walking off when you were in the shower?
Yes, I believe so. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I know I told them. As soon as I told them, instead of it was a woman, it was a man, they said, let me take you in. We got to take you in and interview you.
And when you say take you in,
Take you into the police station and interview you.
So did you go down to the Temple Terrace Police Department?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And were you interviewed there?
Yes, I was.
So what did you tell them about it was a man and not a woman?
I said, she walked away. I believe, I forgot what I said. That's when they was trying to see, can I get in touch with him? And I did end up getting in touch with him. And that's when I continued lying.
So you told them a different lie from the first lie?
Right.
What were you doing? Were you still taking a shower and the man was at the house?
Right. Right.
So Felicia walked off when you were in the shower and the
When
man
I was in the
there?
room with him, yeah. I said that, I'm not sure what I said, but I know I lied and said that it was a man in the house. And
Yes.
Ms. Wiley, would looking at a summary of your interview there at the Temple Terrace Police Department refresh your memory as to what you told them on that day?
okay.
Would that refresh your memory?
Yes.
Looking at that?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Reference to page, line, what document?
You can please let me know when your recollection's been refreshed as to what you told him during the second time.
Right. It was. Okay.
Do you remember what you told the detectives at the Temple Terrace Police Department that day on the 17th when you were interviewing them?
Right.
You told them that there was a man at the house now?
Right.
So what did you tell them?
That we was in the shower. That me and him was in the shower. Having sex.
So you and the man were having sex in the shower.
And when I came out, she was gone.
Who was gone?
Felicia. She was gone.
Did you tell them who this man was?
Yes, I did.
And who was the man?
Trevor.
Was this in fact the truth, that you were in the shower with Trevor and
was a
Felicia
lie.
walked off?
It was a lie.
So this was another lie that you told law enforcement?
Yes, I did.
Did you give them any other information other than the name Trevor?
That's it. I gave him, they asked me what's his name. I said Trevor.
At that point, did you know his name was in fact Granville Ritchie?
No.
Did you contact the defendant after you told law enforcement this second lie to let him know that you've changed the story now?
Yes, I let him know that I told him that you was in the house.
And you told him that you were having sex with him and Felicia walked out?
Yes.
Did he tell you that he was going to then go along with that lie?
I believe so, yeah.
Did you, once you had changed your story again on the 17th, were you ultimately arrested for the charges that you're now facing?
Right.
You
Yes,
were
ma'am.
arrested that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you at the police station that afternoon or that morning?
Ever since they had picked me up,
Correct.
how long I was there until I got arrested, I probably was there all night till like 1 o'clock in the morning.
And so, do you recall when you were, when you went to the police station with them, was it the afternoon?
Yes, I believe so.
Showing you DD-10. Do you recall approximately what time that you got to the police station that afternoon?
I'm not sure, about 2 o'clock.
Around 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Is that correct?
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
Did you ever tell Vivian that you had changed your lie?
No, I didn't get to talk to her. I think I did talk to her, but I didn't say that. I didn't tell her that I changed her life. I'm not sure.
Because there's numerous missed phone calls from the 793 number starting at 209 to 227, and then it appears that it's outgoing call to the defendant's number at 242,
Right, trying to get
250,
Richie.
254.
But the police told me to try to reach out to him and see if I could get him on the phone.
So were you trying to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you actually get him on the phone?
I think I did. Yes, I did. Or they end up get him on the phone. I think they talked to him on my phone. I believe so. I'm not sure.
And did you, when you told him what you had told the police, were they standing there when you told him what you had told the police about the sex in the shower and the victim walking off?
I'm not sure.
Or were you
I don't
alone
remember.
in the room?
I think I was alone. I'm not sure.
You said you were there for numerous hours.
Yes, I
from
did. Right.
2 p.m. until you said 1 a.m. the next morning?
Yes.
And leading into the 18th?
Yes.
But again, there's still contact going on, or attempted contact on in the evening hours or afternoon hours of 4 o'clock involving the 727-288-3413 number. Again, 4:22 p.m. Is that correct? So was law enforcement telling you to reach out
I
to
think.
him numerous times?
And I
or
think
did-
I was calling him too. I was asking where he was at. He needed to come up here. They wanted to interview. They wanted to talk to him. And I know I was kept calling his phone. I was like, you need to come up here and talk to these police.
Did they tell you to reach out to him consistently, or were you doing
I was
that?
right. I was reaching out him consistently. Where you at? Can you please come up here and talk to these police?
And was law enforcement there every time you would call him, or would they
not-
leave?
I think everything-
Let me finish my question
Okay.
first before you answer, okay?
Okay.
Was law enforcement there all of these times that you called him, or
No,
were
I
they?
don't think so. I don't believe
Let
so.
me finish my question, okay?
Okay.
Was law enforcement there every time you called him, or
Mm-hmm.
were they coming and going out of your interview room during these hours that you were there?
Yeah, I think they was coming and going.
They were coming and
Coming
going
and
out?
going out, yes, ma'am.
And again, is this, when you're, there's outgoing calls, again, still to the 727-288-3413 number at 4:30, 4:34, you were still trying to reach him, is that correct?
Right.
And you said that you did in fact reach him,
I did reach out to him,
and you spoke to him?
yes, ma'am. And I told him what I told the police.
Why is it that you decided to change your story and then tell them that there was a man in fact there?
Because, I don't know, I just tell them the truth. And then by the end of the night when they told me that she's dead, I was like, no, I really left her with this man. So if it's end up to being something, somebody need to say something.
But when you told them that it was there a man, that a man was there and you were in the shower and she walked away, that was not the truth though, correct?
No, that was not the truth.
Did you stick with that story or did you,
When they told me that she was dead, I told the truth.
when did you learn that Felicia was located?
Before they arrested me.
Let me finish my question, Ms.
Oh, okay.
Wiley, before you answer, okay? When you learned that Felicia had been found dead, where were you?
In the police station.
This same night of May 17th of 2014?
Right, that's it, yes.
And how is it that you learned that?
By the end of the night, they had put me in another room, and they sat me down, and it was like, now, you need to tell the truth. Where do you think she at? And I'm like, she probably somewhere in somebody's house. And they was
Did
like,
you honestly think that, or were
yes,
you?
I honestly thought that.
How did you think she would be in somebody's house?
Because Sugar Plum is one friendly person. She was just freely to talk to anybody. She wasn't scared.
So you were told that she was found deceased, is that correct?
Yes.
And so what did you tell law enforcement then?
I told them that I lied. And they was like, what you lied about? I said I left her with Trevor, and he wanted me to go and get some weed for him. And then when I came back, she wasn't there.
Did you tell them that you had gone to the CVS looking for her?
I'm not sure. I told them all that. I don't even think they gave me a chance to tell them all that. They just arrested me. They said, you're arrested for giving false information.
And was this third time, this third story that you told them, was that then the truth of what happened?
Yes.
Everything that you have testified to here as to what you did on that day?
Yeah.
There's some paper towels right there, Miss Wiley. On the night of May 16th of 2014, did you ever go anywhere near the area of the causeway?
No, I didn't.
Were you with law enforcement at the Burger King and at the Temple Terrace Police Department giving your statement
Yes, I was.
the night of May 16th of 2017?
Yes, I was.
Ms. Wiley, behind you, I'm going to show you some photographs that have already been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit N1 through 34, showing N1. Do you recognize that vehicle?
Yes.
And how is it that you recognize it?
That's the car that Trevor was driving, Granville was driving.
The Is that the car that you also drove to the CVS?
Yes, ma'am.
When you drove that car, do you recall scratches being on the passenger side of that vehicle?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Wiley, I'm going to approach you. It's difficult to see on the screen. I'm going to show you states N27. These scratches along the back panel, and N29, the scratches continuing on the back, the passenger side, back door and front door. Were those scratches on the vehicle when you were driving it on May 16th of 2014?
Not if I know of.
And when you entered into the vehicle, when the defendant picked you up on the 16th, what seat or what side did you enter into that vehicle?
When he picked me up, not the driver's side, but the passenger seat.
Showing you N12, when you were in that vehicle on the 16th, was there ever that black suitcase in that vehicle?
No.
Ms. Farley, I'm going to show you what's already been introduced into evidence. It states Exhibit C1 through 84. Have you previously looked through the photographs of the apartment,
Yes.
of the defendant's apartment?
Yes.
You've previously seen these photographs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. States Exhibit C4. Does this show the outside of the defendant's apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
And what level was his apartment on?
2.
States Exhibit C7. Do you recognize the entrance way to the apartment complex, to the apartment?
Yes.
And this was the defendant's apartment that you entered into?
Yes, ma'am.
When you were there on May 16th of 2014, do you remember seeing these scuff marks on the flooring there?
No, ma'am.
Just approaching the door?
No.
States Exhibit C8. Looking still at the front door into this hallway closet, were these bedding items or sheets sprawled out on the floor like that when you left the apartment on May 16th of 2014?
No, ma'am.
States Exhibit C15. Is this the Hennessy bottle that you and the defendant were drinking from on the 16th?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it the same or similar bottle that you also drank 2 to 3 days before when you had initially met him?
Yes.
C22, is this the area in the front room that you and the defendant had sex on the evening of May 16th of 2014?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it on the rug or on the carpet area?
Well,
Showing you State's Exhibit C24. At any time on May 16th of 2014, did you go out onto that back porch area?
no.
When you were there at the apartment on May 16th, were the blinds opened or closed?
It was closed.
And sometimes blinds can be, they can be closed over, but they can be open that you can still look out, and, or they're completely closed, such as C23. Did they look the way they look in C23, or did they look where they were partially open that you could still see out?
Yeah. They was like partially like that right now. It was open just a little bit.
When you say they were open up just a little bit, how
Slide.
much?
It
How
was
much did
slid
you
just
see?
a little bit over.
Can
So,
Can you point with your finger how far over they were slid open?
right here.
If you can stand up and point on, actually on the screen.
They was open to right here.
So enough for just one person to step out,
Yes.
and the rest were closed such as that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever actually go out on that back porch ever,
No, I didn't.
on May 16th of 2014?
No.
Showing you photograph C37. Which room was this?
He said that was his mother's room.
And when you left on the night of May 16th of 2017, is that how that bed looked?
No, I didn't.
How did it look when you were there?
It was made up.
It was made up?
Yes.
Is this the bed that you and the defendant had sex on the first night that you met him?
Yes.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit C41, the bathroom associated with that bedroom. Did you ever use that bathroom?
One with the bed in it.
The one with the bed in it, the master
No.
bathroom?
I never went in that one.
You never went in that bathroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever use any of the bathrooms when you were
The
there?
other one, yes.
Why is it that you didn't use this one?
Cause the first night that he brought me there, he was like, don't ever use my mother's restroom.
So did you use the bathroom in the spare bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
You said when you went to pray that you prayed in the closet in the master bedroom, is that correct?
Yes.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit C44. Is that the way that closet appeared when you went in there to pray?
No.
How is it different?
All that went on the floor.
When you say all that was
All
on,
the stuff, like the bag and all that, I didn't see that on the floor.
do you recall anything being on the floor? when
Yeah,
you-
shoes.
Just shoes?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry? C44. When you were there at the apartment on May 16th of 2014, did you ever see any candles lit in the shower of that master bathroom?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever light any candles when you were there on May 16th of 2014?
No, I didn't.
Showing you State's Exhibit C49. Is this the second bedroom or the spare bedroom?
Yes.
Did the defendant identify this bedroom as his bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever, is this how the clothing or these suitcases looked when you were there on May 16th of 2014?
I didn't go in that room, but it looked the same when the first night he took me there. It looked the
What do you
same.
mean by that?
The first date, when I met him that night, he took me to the apartment. It looked the same.
It looks just like this photograph,
Yes, ma'am.
but on May 16th of 2014, you didn't go in there. Is that what you stated?
Correct.
State's Exhibit C63. These, let me approach. I'm going to be pointing to these drag marks here coming off of the carpet onto the wood or pergo or laminate. Were these scratch marks, did you ever see those when you were there on May 16th of 2014?
No.
State's Exhibit C66, another photograph. Did you ever see any dark markings such as the one diagonal in the center of this photograph on any of the parts of the flooring in
No.
the apartment when you were there on the 16th?
No, ma'am.
State C64, and I'll approach. Do you recall ever seeing these drag marks on the carpet when you were there?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever see on May 16th of 2014 the defendant take out a suitcase at any time that you were there?
No.
Counsel, what was the exhibit number again?
C64. State C76, the drag marks going out towards the front door. Did you ever see those drag marks on the flooring
No, ma'am.
when you were there on the 16th?
No.
And state C84, did you ever see this broken zipper piece in the carpet when you were there on May 16th of 2014?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Wiley, you previously stated that your final interview with law enforcement, you could not remember if you had told them about going to CVS. Would looking at your statement refresh your memory as to whether or not you told them that?
I think I did. I'm not sure. I think I did tell them that. I think they let me tell them the whole truth.
Would
Yes.
looking at your statement refresh your memory for sure as to whether or not you told them that?
Oh, yes.
May I
yes.
approach the witness, Judge?
Yes.
Which statement, please?
Page 8 of 26, Detective Carroll. And once your memory's been refreshed, let me know.
Yes.
So your final statement to law enforcement, did you tell them about you going to CVS to look for?
Yes.
Yes. At any point during all of those phone conversations between you and Vivian or someone who later became known to as Gloria Gibson, did you ever tell her that Felicia was a mean girl?
Tell law enforcement that?
No, did you ever tell Vivian that Felicia was a mean girl?
No, I never told her that.
No further questions, Judge?
All right, do you want to get started on cross or wait till tomorrow?
No, tomorrow will be ready.
Okay, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, jury, it's now 5 to 5, so this would be a good time for us to go ahead and take our evening recess. Just remember my previous instructions when you go home tonight. Don't talk to anyone about this case. Don't listen to, watch, or read any news accounts related to this case, and don't do any independent inquiry of your own about this case. Tomorrow morning, we will begin promptly at 9 a.m. with the cross-examination of this witness, okay? See you tomorrow.
Can you leave your notes in your chairs? I would like it. All rise, jury exiting.
Very good. The jury's up in the courtroom. All right, ma'am, it's the same instruction since you are still on the witness stand and have not yet been cross-examined. When you go home tonight, you can't talk to anybody. Anybody means anybody about anything related to this case, okay? So you can't talk to even the prosecutors about what your testimony was or what your testimony will be. Nobody means nobody. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. You're excused for the evening. See you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Okay, so what's the lineup tomorrow? Mr. Harmon or Ms. Johnson?
We don't know yet, Judge.
We got a phone. I know probably the first two witnesses who are out there waiting would be Ms. Wiley's grandfather and the individual who sold her the marijuana,
Okay,
Baltimore Vernon.
okay.
We do have a lineup. Let me look at my witness list because we did come up with one on Friday.
We do have retired Bayer that has to go on tomorrow because he was driving in tonight. And,
Who?
Retired Officer Bayer.
Okay,
And one other witness, we told him we'd call on Tuesday, Mr. Alan Wallace. Dittman and Lopez.
Judge, we have the NOAA, a witness from the federal agency NOAA.
Okay.
Testifying tomorrow, Andy McFadden.
is that the vegetation or the sand?
That's going to be the tide. I didn't talk about it in my opening statements.
Okay.
They asked her to check the tides, winds, and to see if she could give a model of where the victim may have possibly been deposited.
I see.
As opposed to where she was located.
I see.
Officer Nick Dittman, who's retired, Officer Carlos Lopez, who's now retired,
And are these,
and Teresa DeWitt Wagner, who's a crime scene tech, will go on tomorrow.
And she's actually testifying in another case as well tomorrow, so we'll work
okay.
the other possible.
And are these officers Temple Terrace Police Department, HCSO, some other agency?
Terry DeWitt is from the sheriff's office. She just retired from the sheriff's office.
Okay.
Dittman and Lopez are former Temple Terrace PD.
Okay,
We may possibly get to some of the Clearwater PD officers tomorrow.
okay,
Okay,
very good. All right,
very good, thank you.
all right.
Will we come up with something firm tonight, or will you go?
That'd be wonderful, thank you.
Ms. Johnson,
I'm gonna get you everything.
thank you. And I get the tags of the.
Yes, I have it all over here.
Okay, thank
Do
you.
we want to address the Ivy van? We'll do that now?
Sure. Judge, we did a perpetuation of Ivy Van, the last week of August.
Right,
Everything went well. We have some exhibits that we'll be introducing. There was a few questions that were objected to. I asked towards the end of her testimony, Ms. Van, because there is text messaging that came in through photographs of him asking her for money.
okay.
I did ask her how much money that she has given him over the span of their relationship. She had testified $12,000, defense counsel objected. And then I asked her, did he tell you what he did with that money? And her statement was that he told her that he had bought the silver Lexus with that money that she had provided him. So we would obviously want that in for him testifying that he lied about him owning that Lexus vehicle and that being his vehicle. Defense counsel wants that out.
We, first of all, I will not be arguing that he didn't have control or didn't use the Lexus.
Right.
Not making that argument. These are prior bad acts, and there's been no notice. They're also not relevant for purposes of whether or not he committed this murder or not. The fact that a girlfriend gave him $12,000 over a 4, 5, 6 month time period. And the fact that he lied about, that he used money for buying the car, not buying the car, really has nothing to do with the charges against my client.
So, I'm gonna sustain the defense objection as to those two questions, okay? Okay. So they come up. All right, other than that, we're ready to go on the, Ms. Van being able to play her.
My only other objection to that entire evidence being introduced is, I think the state has to show that she was unavailable. The reason for her unavailability, as my understanding, is because she had a vacation planned in Africa.
Okay. All right. All right, very good. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you. Okay, I think it was.
I think that time.
Exam. Okay, I thought it was vacation. Country,
I think I said that.
let's see,
Okay, see everybody tomorrow.
Judge, I stepped out with the jurors, I may not have heard it. You had
what is?
the rest of this portion of it. My sergeant keeps asking me every day.
Listen, if I could predict this, I could predict the weather, I could predict a lot of things.